What's happening, people? It's your another week of your dose of Delboy, and today we've got another special guest. Today we are in the know with the real McCoy, JDX. What's going on, bro?
Nothing much, man. As you know, I'm here in a gym parking lot. I apologize to all the fans out there tuning in because I thought that I would be able to swing it and hang in the gym lobby, but then I thought about it like, oh no, there's COVID going on, so yeah. Had to have a mask on, so.
Yeah. So good. What state are you from?
So I'm from Chicago,
Okay.
Illinois. Yes, sir.
Okay, dope.
But right now I'm residing in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay, how long have you been residing there for?
Man, I'm losing track. I believe it's been about 4 years now. Almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in July.
Oh, dope. So with the interviews that I occasionally do, I like to start off with like a non-wrestling related icebreaker so people can kind of get a gauge of how you are as a person, a bit of your personality.
Okay.
So today's icebreaker is, if you were to go on an American TV talent show, so let's say, for example, X Factor or The Voice, what would be the one song that you'd sing that would get you through to the next round?
Did it get me through?
Yeah.
I don't know. It got to be a song that I know all the lyrics to, right?
Yeah.
I can't say that there's one song that I just like flat out know the lyrics to from top to bottom. It'll probably be a Drake song, to be honest. I think.
Oh, which one?
I don't know. What's that now? I'm sorry.
Which Drake song? There's too many. That's the thing. Drake has got so many songs.
Right, yeah.
Songs for heart.
It would have to. I would assume it would have to be a slower song because like it would be easier because I'm not a rapper.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to remember lyrics and stuff.
Yeah. Nah, that makes sense. I think for me, what Drake song would I pick? Probably Jaded. I think
Jaded. Okay.
I think I don't know why that song hits me so hard.
I'm dead.
It's not like it's not like it hasn't. I've gone through like a crazy heartbreak, but that song.
That says a lot. You was asking me, you was saying that it'll speak to me as like who I am as a person, but it speaks to you, Guap. I ain't gonna lie, because like to know what Jaded is, like you really got to be I want to say a hardcore Drake fan, but you really got to rock with Drake to know what Jaded is.
Big facts, man. Big facts. So let's start at the beginning, JJ. How did you get your start in wrestling?
So I got my start in wrestling by going to a school called the Academy School of Professional Wrestling. So that's funny. That's a funny name. But it's out here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I moved from Chicago when I was like 21 years old. I came out here to train under Ken Anderson, better known as Mr. Kennedy in WWE.
Mr. Anderson. He's so sick.
That's him. That's him.
My favorite wrestler.
You swerved me there because I swear you was going to say Kennedy, but you said you set me up. Him, Molly Holly, Sean Daivari, Arya Daivari to a lesser degree, and Molly. Did I say Molly Holly to a lesser degree already? Okay, and Eric Cannon.
Oh, who did you say is a lot? What was the last name you said?
Eric Cannon. He's like an indie legend. Eric Cannon.
Oh yeah, I know, but I remember watching him in CZW.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching CZW. Dope. So you moved to Chicago from Chicago to Minneapolis. So what even inspired you to become a wrestler? So let's talk about you growing up. Were there any that defining moments for you that, you know, maybe there was a match you watched or a wrestler you saw and you thought to yourself, you know what, this is why. So I lost my father when I was a child. He was always, I have an older brother, so he was always like very adamant about us not wrestling, like because he was worried about my brother, like, you know, trying wrestling moves on me and stuff. It hurted me and stuff. So like when he passed away, like I was kind of trying to find myself and stuff. And I found myself, like one of my buddies at the time, he told me to turn into SmackDown, like on UPN or whatever out here. And so like, I remember one of the first matches that really stuck with me was like Rey Mysterio versus Brock Lesnar. I think it was Rey Mysterio's birthday. It was either his birthday or his daughter's birthday. It was one of them. It was like a December 12th episode or something like that. And Rey Mysterio came so close to winning. So it drew me in as an 8-year-old boy, like seeing him overcome like that Goliath, you know what I mean? Like trying to see him take on him. And then like the Eddie Guerrero run and the Chris Benoit run. So like that's stuff that really got me into it. And John Cena, like the Dr. Thugonomics stuff.
I was in my living room wrestling pillows and teddy bears and stuff like that. So just my imagination was able to run wild through wrestling.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So besides the names that you just mentioned, are there any other wrestlers that you enjoyed watching growing up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shawn Michaels. I enjoyed Goldberg. I enjoyed Triple H. Like as I got older, honestly, I didn't really enjoy Triple H as much, but like once I got to like junior high and stuff, and I got to appreciate him a little bit more. CM Punk, definitely.
Yeah,
that was someone that I was being a Chicago native. Yeah, hell yeah, that dude. Yeah, CM Punk was my guy.
No, I love CM Punk. I don't think I've ever asked anyone this question, but were there any wrestlers that maybe when you were a youngster you weren't really too fond of, but when you actually started wrestling, you started to appreciate the wrestler for maybe their wrestling style, or maybe getting a bit of an understanding of why a particular wrestler wrestled a certain type of way?
That's a really great question. And being put on the spotlight like that, like I know I have an answer. I know I have an answer, bro. Like I swear to you, I have an answer. I'm trying to not to take up too much time thinking about my answer.
Yeah.
I want to say, man, okay, recently, like I went back and watched like old school stuff like the 90s and stuff. I forget his first name, but Tatanka, like just the way he made a comeback and stuff. Like I watched, like I think it was him and HBK from WrestleMania 9, I think it was. Yeah, like dude, his comeback was freaking amazing. Are we allowed to curse? Because I was gonna say effing.
No, you can curse. Go ahead, man.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Well, yeah, dude's comeback was fucking amazing. Like just the way he got the crowd into it, and he just would like prance around. I don't know the correct term for it, so Native American people, please forgive me. But the way he would like prance around and get the crowd into it, he was very charismatic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
and like I think he was on SmackDown like in his later years or whatever.
Yeah, I think he came to SmackDown maybe around 2005, 2006.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, like around that time. So like I'm just like, oh, okay, this Indian guy, or and then going back now, like as an adult, watching, I'm like, damn, dude was really good.
Yeah, no, big facts, because we had a discussion on Clubhouse, I think maybe last week, and we spoke about the best wrestlers to never win WWE titles, world heavyweight titles. And someone brought up Tatanka's name, but then someone rebutted saying that Tatanka was a wrestler that he didn't necessarily have to have a title, because he was so good, he was so charismatic, his matches were good. So yeah, a lot of wrestlers that I've spoken to, not even just on interviews, but just having conversation with them, bring up Tatanka's name, saying that, you know what,
that's amazing to hear. I'm really glad to.
Yeah, that I think when they actually started wrestling, that's when they actually drew some sort of appreciation for him and for what he actually did. So big up to Tatanka, and I think he's still active now as well.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
I think so, apparently. But yeah, no, big up to Tatanka. He's absolutely dope. Absolutely dope. So let's go back to you in terms of your wrestling style. How do you define your style, in fact? Because when I've watched your matches, there's so many, like, you've got speed, you're a technician, not too much of a high flyer, I would say.
No, not even, no.
Yeah.
I would say I'm a technician, man.
You wouldn't say so?
I forgot where I was. It don't matter where I was, but I feel like I was at work yesterday, something like that. And it came to my mind. I was like, damn, dude, like, how would you describe your wrestling style? Like, I guess like a sports entertainer, I guess. Like, and that, a way to explain it. Like, I definitely wouldn't consider myself a technician, because I'm not like, I don't know. My chain wrestling, it needs work. Like, it's solid enough. Like, I can get through chain wrestling just fine, but like, you won't see me like locking guys up in pretzels and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like you said, I got a little bit of speed. Yeah, I'm definitely not a high flyer. I'm trying to take a little bit more risk, like as like, matches are very scarce nowadays. I'm having a match like once every month or once every 2 weeks or whatever. And like, now I'm starting to throw caution into the wind a little bit more. So I'm taking more risk out there. Yeah. So you'll see me. I definitely won't be classified as a high flyer, but
you're definitely a striker.
Come again?
I say you're definitely a striker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Are there any wrestlers you would say that have kind of, you've looked at and you've tried to adopt their style? Of any wrestlers that have inspired your style?
Absolutely. So right now I'm really digging Apollo Crews. I always I go through these phases where I study a lot of different guys. Like most of the time as African American wrestlers, black wrestlers and stuff. But of course, like alongside others like Shawn Michaels and stuff like that, Eddie Guerrero, stuff like that. But like I go through phases where like I study like Ricochet, like Shane Strickland, like as most people know, Isaiah Swerve Scott. Swerve Scott. I got gum in my mouth. I should probably get rid of that. Trying to think, who else do I really patent my style after? I've been watching a lot more of The Rock. That's the person who I grew to appreciate, actually. And I've been telling people that a lot. Like, and they were like, how could you not appreciate The Rock? Well, let me tell you, because The Rock, you know, he's a mouthpiece. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's charismatic as they come. He's one of the most charismatic superstars there's ever been. But it's like, you don't really think of The Rock as like an in-ring like type of general. Yeah. Until like I went back and I watched one of his matches against Chris Benoit, like Fully Loaded. I think it was Fully Loaded. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. But like I was watching closely and shit, and it was like, man, like The Rock was actually like, I don't want to say carrying Benoit, but dude, he was like calling spots like left and fucking right. Like he was like, throw me against the steps, throw me against the barricade, like shoot me up. Like he was just like quarterbacking the whole damn match. And that was so surprising to me because I never thought of The Rock as like this in-ring general type of guy. But obviously he made it that far for a reason in such short amount of time, you know? So
yeah, definitely. And I don't know, maybe you might agree with me on this because me and my friends, we've spoken about this on several episodes of podcast. For me personally, I don't think The Rock has had a bad match with anyone. I feel like The Rock has had great chemistry with every single wrestler that he's had, and he's been able to, even if he was to win the matches, he'll still find a way to put that person over and give them enough time to get their moves in.
Right, he gets it. No, I can't think of one. Like right now, like I said, I'm going back and I'm watching the old school stuff. So like I think right now I'm on WrestleMania 10. And then I'm gonna just continue to watch like all the pay-per-views and stuff. So like I haven't reached the Rock era just yet. Yeah. But like as far as like off the top of my dome, no, I can't think of a bad Rock match. No.
Yeah, no, I can't think of one either. So let's go back a little bit. So you started training. How was it taking your first bump?
It didn't hurt like hell, but it wasn't the most natural thing I've ever done. Yeah. I remember actually Eric Kennedy, he was saying to me, he was like, this is gonna take you some time. Like, it's gonna take you some time. Like, cause for whatever reason, I couldn't grasp the concept of like, I guess tucking my head. Matter of fact, my bumps sucked. They sucked for like 2 months. Now that I think about it. And I'm kind of mad. So like, if there are any other like aspiring pro wrestlers out there or like guys that are wrestlers that are watching this, man, I understand like they're, you know, you don't want to rub people the wrong way as a know-it-all or whatever. But if you see somebody not doing something very well, like me personally, I want to be told that. Like, so like, don't be afraid to tell people that, because like I had literally like 20 other people in my class at training at the time. And like, I sucked taking bumps for like 2 months. Yeah. And it wasn't something that like, cause you're not watching yourself, you know what I mean? So like people would literally let me like take shitty bumps for like 2 months. Yeah. Until I finally figured out my way of like how to take bumps. So yeah. I was a shit at it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you saying that. I mean, I'm not a wrestler, but I do agree with, you know, each one teach one. If you see someone not doing so well, maybe, you know, pointing it out to them, because at the end of the day, you two are both like, for example, if you guys are putting a match together, you both have to coordinate this match together and you guys want to get out of it safely. So you don't want to be in the ring with someone if you know they're doing something unsafe and then injury might occur to you or that person. So I definitely think it is important. So how long did it take until you got your first match, or was it a process of you training and then as you were training, you got matches?
Yeah, so I trained for 4 months. I had my first match within 4 months. And the crazy thing is I actually dislocated my shoulder 3 weeks before my very first match.
Oh, so how did that happen?
So I was trying a up and over For those of you that don't know what up and over is, it's like when you go into the corner and like you kind of do a handstand on the turnbuckle and you like kick your legs up.
Oh yeah.
And like sometimes guys like run underneath you and hit the buckle or whatever. I was doing that, but I had a guy laying on the ground. So I want to do like an up and over foot stomp. So like, you know, like the Finn Balor, like coup de grace or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But onto the guy's chest. So like I go up to the turnbuckle, kind of like Jeff Hardy's, like where he would go up and then he would come down and
kick,
hit the corner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like I wanted them to be laying down. So I was doing it and doing it and doing it. I did it like 4 or 5 times. And the guy at the time, he was telling me like, do it again. You could lay it in harder. Like you could do it harder. You could do it harder. So man, I fucking kept doing it, bro. And so like I did it one last time. I went up and then I came down on dude's chest and I fucking like put my shoulder like in this position like this. And I came down and I dislocated my shoulder twice before in high school in my freshman year. So I hadn't done it in like years, probably like if I was 22 at the time, high school, probably like it probably had been like 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years,
yeah. So yeah, the worst time possible. The worst time possible. 3 weeks, you know, like, and I'm a very like determined, like gritty person. So I'm like, yes, like I've been waiting my whole life for this, and then like, you know, and it just got pulled from right under me. You know what I mean? So
no, and I
rehab in my own living room and shit. For like 3 weeks, and I was just like, dog, there's no way I'm not
having a match.
Yeah.
And how was the first match and who was it against?
Oh man, it was against a guy named Heavy Metal Lord. So he's probably about 6'3", 6'4". He's a big guy. I wasn't ready. I should have waited longer, not just because of the injury, but just like in general. Like, you know what I mean? You can be too smooth. You could never be too good at your own craft or too prepared, I guess. And I wasn't necessarily. I was just thirsty to get out there. And like I blew one of the first spots. My strikes were the shits. Like it was just bad. It wasn't a bad performance per se, but like, you know, you're your own worst critic, and like, it just wasn't what I had hoped it to be. Like I literally after the match, like I sat in the locker room. And I thought to myself, for a split second, like literally, I'm like, damn, is this really what I want to do? Yeah. And then like, I snapped right out of it. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, is what you want to do, dog. Like, you got another match tomorrow. Like, shake it off. Let's fucking move. Let's
just get over it, done with. Literally. Yeah, that's dope.
But for a split second, that doubt did creep in my mind. I'm just like, that's not what I envisioned this to be.
Yeah.
Or I envisioned that to go.
Nah, it's proper dope. And how has it been? What was it like being trained by the likes of Ken Anderson and Molly Holly, Davari and Eric Cannon? Like these are people that are highly regarded within the business. Mm-hmm. You know, you must have learned gems from every single one of them. Like, how was it? And I know you've had several matches. I know you've had matches with Anderson and Eric Cannon. So how was it? Talk to me.
Yes, sir. Man, it was actually awesome. It's still awesome because, you know, it still has its perks. Like, you know, I can call Ken up. I don't use them as much as I probably should, you know, those ones or whatever. I'm trying to get better about that, especially with COVID and stuff going on now. It's like, dog, you know, you need to take advantage of who you were trained by. But to answer your question, man, like Ken always, you know, his stint in WWE didn't end the way he probably would have wanted it to, or the way people would have imagined it to have. So like he just told us like, you know, what to do, what not to do, stuff like that. Same thing with Sean. It's just like he tell you stories and stuff about WWE, you know, how to conduct yourself. So yeah, like I can still reach out to Sean to this day, and like, you know, he'll put in a good word for me in certain places and stuff like that. So definitely, you know, panned out for me in the long haul. Cannon, man, Cannon runs a promotion out here called First Wrestling. If you haven't heard of it or ever, you know, seen any of it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go out and, you know, watch some First Wrestling stuff. And that's first with a F1 RST wrestling. So like, yeah, like him, he's putting me up against the likes of like Kip Sabian, you know, for AEW. I got a match coming up soon with another name. I gotta keep kayfabe on that one.
Okay.
But that's coming up in February. So like, he's always put me in a great position, you know, to succeed. You know what I mean? Like just against a who's who sometimes.
Yeah. So. No, that's dope, man. Yeah, like you said, with Ken, his run, his stint with WWE, was definitely something we, as fans, wanted to see more of because everybody was invested in. Even Davari as well. I think for me, as someone that was watching him in WWE, I didn't really have an idea of, you know, what he could really do because I only just saw him as a manager. And then when he was put in matches, it wasn't necessarily like traditional matches. It's, you know, the type of matches that they put managers in and they just get beaten up and then that's it. But until I saw Davari's run in TNA, that's when I was like, whoa, this guy has potential to be an actual star. Like this guy could do so much. And the fact that, and even Ken, when he went to Impact as well, and he more or less had the run that he should have had in WWE as well, I was just like, I mean, in one breath, I'm happy because I'm an Impact fan, so I'm happy to see this happening here. But in the same breath, it's like, fucking hell, man, WWE, what have you guys done? You guys have really trashed it. So it's
but everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. That's literally it, man. Another question I've got for you. How has it been navigating through the industry as a black guy? Because, I mean, naturally, you know, wrestling has never really been regarded as a black man's sport. And, you know, we've seen within, you know, the last few years, like an influx of black talent. And it's black talent that haven't got the stereotypical kind of gimmick, you know. There's a plethora of black stars killing it out there. Yourself, you've got ACH, Leo Rush, Myron Reed. Like, there's so much talent now. So how has it been for you navigating as a black guy?
For me, that's a very convoluted question. I feel like, I don't want to say it's a curse, but I'll focus on it being a gift.
Yeah.
I'll focus on it being a gift because it automatically makes you stand out.
Yeah, 100%.
Like right off the bat. Like, so like, I don't want to say you got it easier, obviously not. I would say this. So like on the indies, I think it's I don't want to say better, but it's like, because you see guys, you see the ACHs, you see the Shane Stricklands, you see the Leo Rushes, even though Leo Rush and like ACH before he left WWE, he you know, you could tell they were going to do something with him, and Leo Rush, they were doing something with him. But it's almost like you get kind of lost in the shuffle. It's almost like you're a god, almost like on the indies, like, you know, for lack of a better term. On the indies, you're like, you know, you're the super charismatic, like flamboyant. You got it freaking going on, basically. And then when you get to like the bigger dance or whatever, it's kind of like, they slap a gimmick on you.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you know, you don't get to just be a wrestler. You kind of in the past, so you have to be a dancer or whatever. I don't know, man, but on the indies, like, I feel like it's definitely a gift because like, as long as you got the tools to back it up, you know what I mean? You already stand out, but as long as you're athletic, you can wrestle, you can talk, you are charismatic, then it's like, it's love.
Yeah.
And actually, like, shout out to John West, like, because, you know, he put together the show Black Wrestlers Matter. So like, we have that. That's like our, you know, that's like our Christmas. Black Wrestlers Matter 1. I got to face ACH actually. You know, so like that was a huge coming out party for yours truly. And then Black Wrestlers Matters 2, like that's gonna be an awesome show too, you know. So hopefully that's something that we can continue doing. So, you know, as long as we unite and we stick together, you know, it's like if we can keep that same energy that all of us support each other. You know, we gotta look out for.
That's literally it. That's literally it. Because in the UK, in London specifically, we've big up Roy Johnson all the time. He's got his own event called Everything's Patterned, and it's more or less just all black wrestlers just coming together and putting on a show. So hopefully, you know, once the travel restrictions are up, you could potentially come down. And have you managed to travel outside of the US to wrestle?
Yeah, I went to Canada once. I just got my passport in 2020. I think it was like January or February. So I was only able to get in one show.
Yeah.
Which was in Canada before the COVID, the pandemic, put the world on lock.
Yeah, no,
but I went out to the UK though.
Yeah, bro. Listen, when you're ready to come, just hit me up and I'll take you to all the good spots, man. So you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Take it to all the good spots, man. And yeah, man. So in terms of 2021, I know like we said just now regarding the pandemic, you know, a lot of things have been restricted, but I mean the difference between the US and here, there's not really been any shows. Whereas with the US, under restricted rules, I'm sure you guys have been able to have as many shows as possible. So what would you say are your aims for 2021?
What is my what now? I'm sorry, for 2021?
Your aims for 2021. So by the end of the year, you want to look back. What would you have wanted to have achieved?
Like lately, like how I've been, you know, like you said, with the lack of shows and stuff. And I didn't know you guys weren't able to run shows at all, man. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's been terrible. There's been a few companies like Rev Pro and Progress. Actually, I don't think Progress, but a few shows they've been able to do like within a restricted area, so it's just wrestlers only. They tape it and then put it out, but it's nothing. It's not been like AEW or GCW where they're allowed to have a few people there.
I got you. Yeah, that's like the smaller shows, like besides the GCW and stuff. Like local shows for the most part is like tape. I know at least here in Minnesota, I go to Wisconsin and we have crowds and stuff. But enough of going down that rabbit hole. One thing I have been proud of, like, is like my understanding of wrestling. I don't like Sean Devari would always say like he didn't get it until like his third or fourth year, and I'm in my third year now. I wouldn't say like I got it just yet, but I'm getting closer to getting it, and I'm seeing the growth within myself as a performer. So like at the end of 2021, what I really want, besides like the obvious of like possibly being signed to like, you know, as a contracted wrestler, whether that's MLW, AEW, WWE, or Impact, I really want to look back and be like, I grew a whole damn lot as a performer.
Yeah,
I know it sounds cliche and I know it sounds like sophomore. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but to me it is. Because like I was telling you off the record, like I was watching film and stuff. I'm putting together a highlight tape, and like it was really it was kind of like discouraging, but at the same time encouraging, because like I saw like how bad I really was. Not that I sucked, you know, or like how green I was at the time, but like I'm doing a whole career thing. So I'm watching from like my first match on to like today. I'm like, damn, dude, you've grown so much.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's encouraging, but it's discouraging at the same time to see how bad I actually suck.
Yeah.
So I want to see that leap again. Like at the end of 2021, when I'm in 2022, I want to be like, damn, dog, like you really got good. Like you're a lot better than where you were at the beginning of 2021. So I'm getting that understanding of wrestling and the tempo that like the big leagues have.
Yeah.
In comparison to what I was doing.
Yeah, no, it's 100% understood. And before we wrap this up, I do something called set the scene. So I'm going to set the scene for you. It is WrestleMania. You're in the main event.
Chill box.
You're in the main event. You're going to be facing your dream opponent for your dream title. Who is your dream opponent and what is the dream title?
Dream opponent, The Rock. The title. Probably the world heavyweight title, like the big gold belt.
Yeah. Yeah,
for sure.
I'll sign that up straight away. I wish I was Vince McMahon. I'll just sign on the dotted line to get that on for the next WrestleMania.
I gotta get a little bigger. I gotta get a little bit bigger. The Rock, he's big as hell. So
it's like every year he gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no.
I look like a damn cruiserweight in comparison to The Rock. 205. But need to show more love. That's one thing I want to say. Like, I hate how like guys like Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy and guys like that, like they look just as big as, you know, a Seth Rollins, if not bigger. Yeah. But they're, you know, relegated to freaking 205 Live. 205 like that, Live. I hope to break. If I do make it to WWE, I want to break that.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I feel like, don't get me wrong, I like the cruiserweight division, but I do think it's a redundant division in the sense of I would like for there to be more like cross play. Like I would want to be able to see the likes of Tony Nese facing like the bigger guys as opposed to him just sticking with the cruiserweights. Because if you look at Tony Nese outside of like the division, he's a massive guy, and he's just as good. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, I was happy when they brought it back because the Cruiserweight Classic was an amazing tournament. But
I want them to bring that back so bad.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
I watch that at least like twice a year. I rewatch.
We're on the same wavelength because I do the same thing. And like even when the Cruiserweight division started, we saw the likes of Neville, aka Pac. Like when he went to the Cruiserweight division, he added so much stock to it. And if you see him outside of the Cruiserweight division, he's a massive guy. And people like Buddy Murphy, Ali, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, these are people that, for me, they transcend the whole division. Like they don't have to be in the division. I feel like the division, So I mean, I like the title belt. I like the whole premise of it, but in general, I'd want them to scrap it. I don't think it makes any sense because it's not doing anything for them at this point. It's just, it's not doing anything, but that's neither here or there. JDX, thank you so much for taking the time out to do this interview. Would you like to plug yourself, let the people know where they can follow you?
Yes, sir. And I want to say thank you for having me, man. Seriously.
The pleasure is all yours, my bro.
It's actually very humbling to know that, like, you even know of me, like, being all the way out there in the UK. Seriously, dude.
Yeah, I always try to make sure that I tap in with all the wrestlers. And, you know, for me, I'm a wrestling fan, whether it's just like, I don't care if you're wrestling in front of 2 people, whether you're wrestling in front of 10 million people. If you're good and I see something, you know, I want to be able to just have a chat with you and just, like we're all lovers of wrestling at the end of the day. So,
absolutely.
You know, why not? Let's have this chat. And, you know, there's a lot of wrestlers that aren't really been privy to in the UK. So if I could, you know, bring maybe like 10 more eyes, 20 more eyes to you, then when you come here, you're going to have a whole fanfare. So anytime, I just want to be able to bridge a gap between wrestling fans and wrestlers. So that way, you know, people can look at wrestlers and say, you know what, this person's just a normal person like me. He just happens to, you know, do super kicks and do power bombs, you know. So that's literally it, man. So thank you for taking time out, man. Let the people know what's
people like you, dog. But yeah, social media. You can find me on Instagram at official.jdx. That's probably where I'm the most active. You can always see me working hard and stuff on my stories and stuff. I'm always in the gym or watching film or whatever. I'm always active on Instagram for the most part. You can also find me on Twitter at officialjdx. My YouTube page is Justin David Xavier. Let me see. In Facebook, you can find me on there as The Real McCoy JDX.
There you have it. Make sure you guys follow him. Make sure you guys show him some love, show him some support. It's been your boy Delboy with In The Know. We'll be back next week. Thank you guys. Bye.